Why is the Russian Revolution such a complicated topic to understand, both for learners who have to learn about this and for educators who have to educate this? Now, first of all, we know that the Russian Revolution is very important because it led to the rise of communism in the 20th century. And we say Vladimir Lenin caused a communist revolution in Russia, overthrew Tsar Nicholas, the autocrat leader of Russia. But Vladimir Lenin did not overthrow Tsar Nicholas. Tsar Nicholas's government was overthrown in the 1917 February revolution. Vladimir Lenin wasn't even in Russia at the time. He was exiled in Switzerland. Secondly, this February revolution took place in March. Then Vladimir Lenin was sent by a German to Russia to lead a second revolution and get Russia out of the First World War, which is known as October Revolution, which happened in November. Okay, why? Because Russia used the Julian calendar as opposed to the Gregorian calendar. So they were behind by 13 days. So that's why, even though it's known as the February Revolution, that was according to their calendar, whereas according to our calendar and the calendar that Russia uses now, it happened in March, and likewise the October Revolution happened in November. Now, furthermore, what is communism? Communism is a philosophy of Karl Marx, which said that in the most industrial, advanced capitalist nation, the proletariat would be fed up of being exploited by the bourgeoisie, and a revolution would naturally occur. It would happen in the most advanced capitalist nation because this large proletariat force. Russia was not the most advanced capitalist nation. You can think of it still being in more of a feudal period with the system of serfdom, which is not what Karl Marx predicted. Lenin took what Karl Marx had predicted and applied it to a country which was completely different. The vast majority of Russia's population could not be described as being the proletariat, but would rather be better described as a type of serfs or serfdoms or peasant farmers. Thirdly, Vladimir Lenin represented the form or a group within the Socialist Party known as the Bolsheviks. Bolsheviks means majority. Lenin and his Bolsheviks were usually in the minority. And the Mensheviks of the Socialist Party, Menshevik means minority, they were usually in the majority. So this whole Russian Revolution thing is quite complicated. But just to summarize, make it very simple, 1815, the end of the Napoleonic Wars, until 1914, the outbreak of the First World War, was sometimes you can think of it as being the golden age of Europe, a time of prosperity, very few European wars. There are a couple of wars, but for the most part, there's no major European war that involves multiple nations. During this time, most of the countries were either democracies or they were constitutional monarchs, where the king shared power with parliament, but not Russia. Russia was ruled by an absolute autocracy, where its Tsar had unlimited power. This resulted in a 1905 revolution. The Russians lost the war to Japan. At this point in time, it was very embarrassing for a European nation to lose a war to a non-European nation. There was a lot of popular resentment, especially the fact that most people didn't have basic necessities. They wanted freedom. Father Gapon, a priest, led a revolution. They were fired upon, and a couple of changes occurred, but it wasn't really a major issue until 1914, when the First World War broke out and Russia's problems became exacerbated. By 1917, in March, what's known as the February Revolution, there was a revolution which overthrew the Tsar, and later on there was a second revolution where Lenin came to power and sought to implement his version of communism.